I don't think I'll ever get a tattoo. That's just not me. Like in the beginning, I was interested in tattoos, but it quickly like went away because everybody started getting tattoos, and what everybody does makes me not want to do because then you're no longer unique. So everybody got tattoos now. See, now people got tattoos on their face, and that's fine. That's for them. But for me, nah, hell no. That's why I'm like, people are
How much
surprised. They
money?
ask me, they were like, "You don't have tattoos?" I'd be like, "No."
Not
And
if somebody gave you money, even
never I would get a tattoo.
never for any amount of money.
Never. I don't. Well, maybe I won't say never. Like, cause I was open to tattoos. Like, if it's super meaningful to me. But I don't know. I don't want to say never, but most likely not.
What if somebody gave you? Because I've seen TikTok videos of people say, "Tattoo this for $100 or for $1,000."
No, then I'm definitely not doing it.
No matter what the amount is.
Not because I ain't a hoe. I don't do shit for money. I don't jump out of character for money. To me, that's selling out.
For $1 million? I'll sell out for $1 million.
You what? You do anything?
Nothing dirty. I'll do nothing dirty.
I think there's a limit with money. Like for somebody, like they'll do anything for the price. Me, like no. I don't jump out of character for money because that's selling out. And if I sell out, I feel like, I don't know, then I have come, like I'm a slave to the world. I let money own me. I let the world own me. So I'm a bitch. And I'm like I don't know. I have like, what do they call that? I have like,
No self-value?
well, that too, but like I have became like, always because
corrupted?
I mean, that too. But just like a child of the devil. When I allow like this world. Because you know how God said this world is not like.
So you're tainted. This world has tainted you.
Like yeah. That. And when I always think about what Mike Tyson said, that the devil wins because he changed you. He said that to somebody because he said, if somebody fucks me over, he said that. He said, I don't trust people no more, or something along those lines. And Mike Tyson told him the devil wins. And he's like, what do you mean? So I'm supposed to just allow people to fuck me over? He said, no. But he said, you changed that warm heart you had, or that trusting heart you had prior to getting fucked over. He said, you no longer have that. So the devil robbed you of that. That's what I can't let the devil rob from me. Like my pureness, my realness, it can't be a price to that. Like, you willing to go satanic for money? That's what I was thinking, right? Here's a question. If you know you can make a fuck ton of money off some witchcraft or some devilish shit, would you do it? Like millions, guaranteed. Like if somebody's like, this shit's guaranteed. And it's like, this shit, it's about like, I don't know what's a good example to some shit involving witchcraft or metals or
Ouija board shit.
Some shit like that. And you can make a fuck ton of money. Would you do it?
I think when you label it as satanic, what'd you say?
Satanic shit?
Yeah, when you, devil stuff, anything devil related, anything evil related, I don't fuck with. But as far as like doing something a little shady, like a little dirty,
Nah.
for like 50 racks.
Nah, I don't think I can do it.
Like, let me see. I'm trying to think of like a baby scenario, like a baby shady scenario.
Okay, let's simplify it. You're selling satanic books.
See, that's satanic though. That's too far.
Okay, witchcraft books.
I'll do that.
Like witchcraft books and that's it? You do it? Even if you can make $1 million?
Yeah, I'll do it. There's nothing, because it's just a book. I'm not forcing anyone to buy it.
I know, but you're allowing this to be, you're becoming a worker for the devil. Because it's like
what type of witchcraft are you talking about?
It's like a corporation, right? If it's an evil corporation, so
you're saying
you work for that corporation, then you're spreading that corporation's message.
So
if you're doing anything that's anti-Jesus, it's pro-devil. And if you're making money off of it, isn't it like you're siding with the devil? Because you're doing something that Jesus would turn his eye to, right? Jesus is like, so that's satanic shit.
I guess if you break it down, but no one really breaks anything down. They just see these 50 G's sell these books, no problem. People sell crack. People, all that shit. Heroin. Don't give a fuck.
Do you think that's satanic?
Well, if you,
based on the like,
because if
just based on the fact that
Yeah.
you know that this drug can ruin their lives.
It seems as bad. People, I don't know. I have no idea when it comes to drugs. I'm not sure how far someone's willing to go just to get them. I have no idea. But I seen this video of this girl's like, I'll do anything for like $20. Give me anything. I'll do anything, even like dirty things. And he's like, nah, I don't want that. He's like, clean my truck. I'll give you $20. You wash my truck. I'm not washing your truck.
Yeah, she's willing to do anything.
But she's willing to do anything. She said, I'll do anything. How are you willing to cross like do 30 things with a stranger but you won't wash his car?
Yeah.
For some laziness. And it's like it's way more work to do the dirty. It's way more work to rent a stranger than it is to just wash his car. It should be done in like 30 minutes.
I just feel like it affects your value, for how you value yourself.
For $20, it's hella more respectable. You wash the dude's truck, huh?
Hell yeah, I wash the dude's truck all day.
For
instead of doing some dirty shit?
Yeah.
Nah, hell no.
But why?
I'll take less money and I'll do more work to avoid having to do something that's out of character. Because that's not me.
That's crazy.
But some people, I tell you, like people for money do crazy stuff. And that's when you're willing to hurt others or promote something that's evil, and or even go as far as that destroys lives. I mean, that's what I'm saying. Like, no, I can't do that.
Depends on the price for me.
Because like things have changed, right? Before, I wouldn't think about shit. So I would be more willing to do more dumb shit. But now that I know better, I can't go back to that way of thinking. And now that I know too, is like there's so much ways to get money out here. There's so much ways to get money. It just takes time. And you have to be willing.
Every time, it seems like there's always new shit that presents itself, huh? For avenues present themselves, and then whether or not you're willing to pursue it. I think there's money everywhere. There's money all over the place. And I think, especially if you're willing to learn and if you're willing to risk it, because sometimes there's a lot of risk, and it's scary when you only have two grand and you've been saving forever. And you're afraid that these two grand that you've been saving forever, you might blow it in an instant, and it might not work out. And now you have no money, and you got to start stacking again. But in life, if you're not willing to risk it, you will never get ahead.
Well, no risk, no reward.
I think risk is so long as it's a responsible risk. You got to be able to risk it without it affecting. Like you can't risk all the money for rent, or the grocery money, or the fucking consumer's bill.
But that's why you have to have like a separate like amount of funds that is not. You have to have your necessity, right? Like your money. You have to have your necessity money, your rent, your food, shit like that. Then you have money on the side. But I think a lot of times that happens because of like people are so quick to move out and make their own lives, and then you fall into a bunch of holes and you get into debt, or even with school and stuff like that. So
whenever I jump into anything that is, I see potential in making money, whenever I invest, whatever I invest, I look at it as it's lost already. And because I already have, in my head, that money, I already lost it. So whether I make money or whether I don't make money, that shit's already gone. And because you think like that, if you lose it, you're like, oh, fuck it, well, I lost it. But if you make a little bit of money, or if you double it up somehow, you're like, oh, shit. But you got to be smart to pull.
What do you mean?
Like whenever you make money, don't be afraid to pull money out. Like because I have a tendency to freaking not. I always look at money like it's not enough. If you invest $1,000, let's say in the stock market, and then let's say in a day you win $100, right? You just invested it, and then all of a sudden you made $100. I'm more of like, it's not enough. I'll leave it in there, where you could just pull it out. Now you got $100 more. You got to be way smarter with your money, especially depending on how you are with your money. And if $100 is a lot for you, pull that motherfucker out, because that's $100 more than you had prior, and it's guaranteed already because you already have it. There's no you shouldn't gamble with it anymore when you already won. This episode is brought to you by Casa, Flores, Taqueria, and more. June 10th will no longer be the opening day. If you want to stay up to date for when they will open, you can follow their social media pages below. We will update you here as soon as we know more. But for now, let's get back to the podcast. I was reading on just on average, the people who jump from job to job make a considerably more amount per year than the people who stay
at the
static
same job.
in the same job.
That's why when I was working at a lot of these places, I won't call them out, but like places, sometimes I would enter and I would be making damn near the same as somebody who's been with the company for 20 years. And I would tell them, no, I wouldn't tell them, but they would know. They would sometimes come to me and be like, you're getting paid this, right? And then I'd be like, yeah, whatever. And then they'd get mad. But I'd tell them it's because you have to speak up. We have to stop looking at our so-called bosses as bosses. I always say it's just, they need work done, I need money. So it's almost like a contract, an agreement. I work, you pay me. But people, when they get a job, it's almost like, they see it like a boss is their owner. And that's crazy because when I worked it was a nursery, like for planting plants and stuff, I would see the boss, right, yell at them, yell at the workers, and the workers just stay quiet. And I'm like, how can another man yell at you? And I would always say, I can't let another man yell at me. If it's not my dad or my mom, no way I'm letting somebody yell at me. And a lot of times, because that's so uncommon, people are like, yeah, right. If he yells at you, you're going to sit there. And I remember one time I was working in the field and the boss showed up, right? And he came, and at that time it was wintertime. And I had I don't know what they're called, but it's almost like those sleeves. I don't know what they're called, the neck ones that cover your face. You know how they're always promoted,
like a
wind,
balaclava?
like a I don't know what the hell that is.
Like it's like what people you wear.
It's like a windbreaker, kind of like it's kind of
for like skiing, like people who go in the mountains and like ski and snowboard and stuff.
Well, it was mainly like for work. I don't know. I don't know about skiing, but it's very thin. But I had one on. And it covers your face and your neck. And I had one on, and he came and he grabbed it. And I didn't like that. And I told him, don't be touching me, whatever. And he looked at me, and I was serious, and he was surprised. And I was like, I don't like people touching me. It's because I don't like it when people try to little boy you. And I get it. Sometimes it's harmless. Like these people, it's normal for them to see a younger kid and tap him on the head or grab his hat. But I don't like nobody to little boy me. Like, only person who could do that is my dad. And I don't see that as people will be like, oh, you're too insecure or whatever. No, it's nothing like that. It's just that there has to be respect. I just see that as disrespectful. Because if I don't know you, just because you're my employee and you're younger than me, doesn't give me the right to come fuck with you or play with you or touch your shit or grab you in any way. That's why I didn't like it. And he was just like, oh, grumpy. And he was surprised and walked away. But I never seen a boss the way the average person sees a boss. I can't do that. And that's why I'm like, fuck it. If somebody says something to me, I'll quit the job.
It's because, and I never understood too why, people are, when they ask for time off, right? You're the I guess the proper thing is to request it, right? But when they say no, they go into the office and they say, can I? Because you're asking for permission. You say, can I? And when employers hear can I, that means that they can deny you.
Yeah, because you're asking.
Yeah, you're asking for permission. Every time I've ever asked for time off, I always go up to the office where the manager is, and I would tell him, hey, this day I'm not gonna be here. And if he asked me why, I would tell him. But then he'd be like, okay. I never once did I ever go and say, can I have this day off? Because then that opens up the door to a no. And when this place doesn't own you.
But I think it also depends on the type of worker you are. If you're somebody who always slacks off, you're not respected within your coworkers, like as far as known as that you actually do work, you're not slacking off the majority of the time. If you're respected, then you have leverage. Because if you're valuable, if the boss sees you like, yeah, he's a good worker, then you have leverage. And people don't use that. When I was working in that nursery, I seen people who were there 20 years, good workers, and they would always be upset because they wouldn't get paid holidays and they wouldn't get paid all these things. And everybody always talks, but nobody goes and tells them. And that's the problem. I told him, hey, I want holiday pay. And he was surprised. And I didn't think he was gonna give it to me because I heard nobody gets holiday pay except for like the bosses of the group. Like every group had a head leader of that group, and those were typically people who've been there forever, 30 years, stuff like that. And they get holiday pay. But a lot of them were white. And it was like almost like if the white people had holiday pay, you know? So it's like
None of
but
the
not really.
Mexicans did?
No, there was no Mexicans in that position.
I know, but there was no Mexican there that got any holiday pay.
No. And even though there was workers there for 20 years, 25 years, almost as long as the head leader of a group, they never got holiday pay. And I told him that, and he was surprised, and he's like, he wrote it down. And then later on, when it was time at the end of the year, I told him again, hey, about the holiday pay. And then he said, I'm gonna give you holiday pay, but I'm not gonna give you every holiday. Because I'll give you like three holidays.
It's crazy how cheap some companies are, huh? With
But
their
it's
employees.
just because they see it as an expense. They're trying to save as much money as possible.
But it's
But
damn
the-
near standard now.
Yeah, but the one thing I never liked is like I can't speak for. Well, yes, I can. I can speak for a lot of people. There's a lot of people I met, even not even that goes beyond just Mexican. There's white people I met who are hard ass workers, and I don't like the fact that when a lot of these places with a lot of these companies were underappreciated and undervalued and not respected and not taken seriously. They're like they always see you like this motherfucker's replaceable. And I could tell you from experience, all these people who think like that shit has came around and bit their ass. Now they're like, and at the end of the day, they waste more money. And it's just I just don't see how business owners are not seeing that. It's better to pay somebody when they ask you for a raise who's a good worker and you already know, oh, this dude's good, instead of saying, nah, fuck that. He's asking for too much. I can just go get another person and give him minimum wage
and train them.
Yeah, but they don't see how it works because that dude can't do the job that he does. He just doesn't have it. Or he's not willing to work at that pace or whatever it may be, whether he don't have the skill or he doesn't want to. So you end up spending more money. Like when we used to work at the concrete place, there was a group specifically and it was just Mexicans. It was a box crew, right? And it was all Mexicans and we would do like 6, 7, 8 boxes a day. Sometimes less. We would do probably like 4 or 5, but on some days we would even do up to like 8 or 9. Like, and that's a lot of output. And
especially because each one of these cement boxes is worth like what?
I don't even know, but it's worth a fuck ton of money.
Like a few $100,000 though.
No, I don't know.
Has to be.
I don't know about the money thing. I never found out. But we would make all these boxes, and when everybody left, right now, a bunch of other people took those positions, and they're only making 3 or 4 a day. And now the wages that we were asking for, and we got declined, they're paying the average newcomer, who's not providing them the boxes, the amount of boxes that they want. It just doesn't make sense. So, and it's happened over and over and over again. And it just seems like, I don't know, a lot of people who are hardworking are underappreciated. But that's why if you're unappreciated at where you're at and you know you're good and you're doing your job, fuck them. Go somewhere else and somebody else will pay you.
It's because I think it's a little scary when people have families, when people have kids that they need to support. And it's scary to jump somewhere that's unknown. You have no idea, especially if you don't have nothing lined up. They have no idea how much you're going to get paid. The distance to their house might be a lot further. And then the people that you're gonna work with, you don't know whether or not you're gonna be cool with. So it's a big jump as far as into the unknown. But it's every time that I've ever jumped, it's always been worth it. Every time I've talked to anybody else that's ever jumped, it's always been worth it because it's not like you're locked down there. You can jump, and if you don't like it, jump again and jump again. And every time you jump, the majority of the time, it comes with a pay raise.
Yeah, but I think you got to be a good worker though. That's the difference. You have to be a good worker. When you can quickly display to somebody that you're a good worker, then they be like, "Oh yeah, he was worth it." But some people won't. They'll fire your ass. So it just, and I understand that people are in debt, people and everything, but I don't think you should stay somewhere where you're underappreciated for 20 years, 25 years. I would tell people when I would get my job, I would tell them I have to see a future here. Because they would tell me, "Oh, we look forward to having you here for a while, whatever, for years if possible." And then I would say, "Okay, but I gotta be able to see a future here. And like, what is my wages gonna be looking like? I have to get raises. I can't just be here for the same pay forever like these other guys." And I would always tell my dad, I feel so bad because these are my kind, right? It's Mexicans just like me, and I almost want to go speak up for them. But it's like you can't, because then you don't know if they're okay with that and stuff like that. And it sucks that you just have to talk for yourself and be like, well, if he don't want to ask, I mean, that's on him. You can never. I would always say if somebody says like, "Hey, everybody else is making 13. Like, why do you want 15?" Like, and then you would be like, "Well, that's them." I would always tell the employee, "Well, that's them. We're not speaking on them. We're speaking on me." And I would always tell them, I only ask for what I feel I deserve. I don't ask for more, but I'm not going to take less. I always ask for what I deserve. If I felt I didn't deserve it, I wouldn't come up here and ask you. That's what I've always said. And a lot of times when you talk like that, they're like, "Okay, well, let me see what we can do."
Especially if you're a good worker.
Yeah, because like I said, you have leverage.
Yeah. Because they're like, he's not bushing.
Yeah, he's not. Everybody would say, like, everybody when I used to work there, everybody was like, "Yeah, he's a good worker." And then even they would talk and they would go to end up getting to the main boss, and then the boss would be like, "I hear you're doing a lot of good work out here, whatever." Because I've always had, like, my dad has always taught me to, when you get a job, you work. You don't go there to slack off, nothing like that. You're not gonna go crazy either, but you're gonna work. And a lot of times, the way my dad has trained me to work has been more than the average for, like, when you see an average as far as output. Like, even on my bad days, when I'm like tired and I slack off, I do more than that person. And it's not because I'm better than them, it's because they don't go in with that mentality. They do less because they're like, "I'm only getting paid minimum wage. Fuck that. I'm not gonna kill myself." And I understand that way of thinking. But when you have what do they call it? A reputation of being a good worker, then it builds leverage. And then you can go ask for a raise and they can't deny it because they're like, a dude told me when we were working at Baycast, which was grinding metal and working with jackhammers and shit. A dude told me when my dad left, I stayed there for a week more before I left. He told me, "Your dad," and this was like one of the head dudes. He's like, "We want him here." He's like, "Talk to him because we want him here." He's like, "He was a great worker. Your dad did the work of 2 guys. So of course you're going to want him. I mean, it benefits your thing." But it's like people wait until you leave to value you. Oh shit, he left. Because people are so used to the, "Oh no, I got him in my grasp.
He ain't going nowhere. He loves $15 an hour.
I could do whatever I want with him, right? I could undervalue him, underappreciate him, not take him seriously. Because a lot of people always say that. And that's why you got to be careful when you say shit. You can't be walking around and make it a common thing and tell people, "Oh, I'm going to quit," and then don't quit. Because it becomes boy cry wolf type shit. Nobody believes you. But when you say that shit and you never said that shit and you're respected and known that you keep your word, it shakes the place. You go, "Oh, this motherfucker really leaving." And that's what a lot of people don't develop that reputation around them.
It feels tight to just leave.
Yeah, when you just bounce.
Yeah, because Like it's nice. It's nice to be in an opportunity where, like, in a place in your life where you can just say fuck it, because uh, it just like that when I left that dealer in Freeland, and it was just Friday. It was just Friday. It was like almost lunchtime, and I was just like, I don't want to work here no more. And I just I'm like, yeah. I thought about it for like 20 minutes in my head, thinking, and I'm like, yeah, fuck this place. And then I just punched out. And then the dude, because you had to punch out on the computer, and it would make a sound, and
When you punch
to
out?
announce that you had punched out. And the dude's like, "Oh, you going to lunch early?" And I'm like, "No, I'm gone. Well, I'm leaving." And he's uh, like for the day.
The
And I'm like,
manager or what?
"No, just another worker."
Oh,
And I'm like, "No, I'm leaving for good." And he's like, "What?" And then I walked outside, pulled my truck in, and I had shit to do. There was shit that I was like midway working on, and I was just like, "Yeah, fuck this place." And I just pulled my truck in, and as soon as people, like, because I didn't say nothing to nobody, I just put my truck in and then started loading my toolbox. And then everybody somehow, like within minutes, everybody, all the other techs knew on the other side of the shop, managers knew, general managers knew. Everybody came back like, "What the hell's going on? Why don't you come talk to me?" Like, what we could have fixed. But it's like, why does it take this? And because I've always been the person to, like, once I commit,
there's no taking that.
yeah,
Once you take that step forward, there's no taking it back.
nah, because
You already crossed it.
I feel like that's then people would think like, nah, I don't like, I never, when I say something, that's because it's what it is. I've always felt like that. So if I ever told somebody, "Hey, there's a freaking alien outside," right? They're gonna be like, "This dude never bullshits. There must be a fucking alien outside." So as soon as my ass sat in the truck and I pulled it in, it solidified. And there's nothing that nobody ever could tell me. Money, no matter what, and whatever they told me, I didn't care. I'm leaving. So it was just a waste of time for them to even come talk to me. But they don't know that. But in my head, I'm like, I'm gone. There's no way I'm leaving. And then you just leave, and it's like it just feels tight to just be able to leave, and then I have to worry about like
Anything.
yeah.
I think a lot of the company doesn't expect you to have that confidence in yourself. It's so out of the norm to just see somebody leave and not give a fuck. I think it's either they're like, well, either this dude's dumb, or he has money, or he has something set up that I don't know about. But you just have to be a certain way if you want to be valued with these companies, because these companies don't give a fuck about you. I would tell my dad that the whole time. And the people, when I used to work at these places, that people been there for 20 years, and they feel like because they've been there 20 years that the boss gives a fuck about them. But then I've seen them getting yelled at, and they just see it like it's part of the job. No, like you're hella being undervalued. And
People don't appreciate 20 years. You at a lot of places. A lot of places you have to be there for a year minimum to get vacation pay, right? And then after so many more years, they'll give you 2 weeks vacation pay. And then after like 15, 20 years, they give you fucking another week.
yeah,
And it's
fuck
like
that.
to be there for 15 years at the same job and have no increase in pay, like
Yeah,
you need to
it's done.
jump somewhere
Yeah.
else.
I
You
would
have
say
to.
like it's like I would tell my dad and them people, I would say, you're just a wrench. That's what I would tell them. And they'd be like, what? And they'd be like, you're just a wrench. You're just getting used up. And the moment you put that wrench on the bolt and it starts slipping, right? It gets old, it starts slipping, you're no longer valuable. And what happens then? They throw that fucking wrench out, and what do? They get a new one. And boom, they got a new wrench. And that's it. So when you see it like this person, I'm just a tool, basically. I'm just a tool to this dude. And once I'm no longer valuable to him, he's gonna go find somebody else. That's why you gotta tell people, I have to see a future here. What if I stay here 10 years, what's my future gonna look like? Nobody tells people that though. When you get a job, like, but it's because I think you have to be in a position of leverage. And if you're in debt, you have kids, you have payments to make. I understand that you probably don't have that. You don't have that luxury to talk like that. You have to just take what you can, because if you don't, people are gonna go hungry.
But you still can look though. Huh? You can still look in secret, look for new shit because you don't have to announce to your current job that you're looking for another job, huh? And eventually you'll find something if you look.
Yeah, I just think people get too comfortable and they're afraid of change.
Change is scary though.
It can be, but you can't let it hold you. It can't put a fucking wall between you. Like Will Smith said that I forgot what the fuck Will Smith said, but he said something along the lines of like the greatest shit in life is on the other side of fear or something like that. And so it's like I know people who worked at these companies, right? And when we left and my dad got a different job who paid more, my dad spread the news, right? To help somebody else out who worked there, who we were cool with, and we let them know, hey, you'll make more money over here doing similar shit. You interested? And they decline. And I'm like, what? I was surprised because that was one of the things when my dad found that spot. I told him, hey, let him know because he was cool. He was a good worker. And I'm like, they don't give a fuck about him over there. So he's going to get more money over here. And when he told him, he said no. He said, I'll think about it, and just never came. And I'm like, I mean, I don't know what to say there.
It sucks because you want the best for people, huh? Especially when you know they're good people. But if they can't overcome the fear of
or whatever it is, it might not just be fear. I don't know. It has to be something along with being comfortable, though. Whether it be you're comfortable with the friends you've made, or the place you go, or how far it is from your house, or all these little things, right? You have to be able to throw that shit out the window. Because what are you working for? Money. We all get up every day for money. So I remember when I quit, and I called the boss, whatever, and I told him that we found another job, and he was upset. But I could tell like he was upset. But I told him like, hey, I told him I was still nice and everything. I told him, hey, because he said he was gonna call us like, I think it was like March or something, to talk about the new year coming up or whatever, because we only work in the summertime. And he's like, we'll call you in March, and he did it. So like a month or two passed by or something like that, and he's like, he never called us. So my dad, we started looking for more work. My dad specifically started looking for more work, and then when he found it, he already had like a backup plan. So when he found out he could make more money, then that's when he said, okay, we can do that. And when I had to make the call to him, I told him, hey, I just wanted to let you know that my dad found another job. Because he didn't know. You said you were going to call us in March, and it's already 2 months had passed, and we haven't received the call. We didn't know if you were going to hire us again. We went ahead and looked for a job. We found a job. But I just wanted to let you know in advance that we're not going to be there, so you can find a replacement. And I told him, I also want to thank you for the time we were there. I told him I really appreciate everything you did for us. And I just want to let you know that it's nothing personal. It's just business. And it was like, that felt like his response. I felt like the way I worded it was so professional that he couldn't get mad. But I could tell he didn't like it. Even over the phone, I could tell he didn't like it.
That's because he just lost money.
I know. But it's because people feel like they own you. This isn't fucking 200 years ago. You can't, this is fucking 2022, 2020. This shit's different now.
2022?
Yeah, I'm saying like the time when we were there. It's probably like 2020 or whatever it was. I don't know. Been a couple while now. But I'm just like, this isn't the past. This isn't the way of the past. But to let go of that, whatever. Have you seen about like all the shit that's happening in Vegas with the aliens and shit? You haven't seen nothing?
The only thing alien stuff was that backyard thing.
Yeah, that's what I'm talking about.
Yeah, the backyard 911 thing. But Robert was telling me about it, but it just seems like that video he was showing me is it was just like puro pedo. Shit was like hella fake. Seemed like it was created.
By what?
By some type of
You talking about the video was fake or what?
Yeah, not just the video of him showing him how he showed the video of the aliens.
Oh yeah, the actual creature.
Yeah, the creature, and I'm like, that's not what it is. That's from a movie or some shit like that. She was made in a freak on a computer.
I don't know, but it seems like a lot of crazy shit is happening. right now. It seemed like even TikToks where this girl was like, she had her camera and she was looking off in like maybe a house or two down on the roof, and there was like, she's like, they've been here, they're just watching us, looking. I could see them with my eyes, and you could see like it's invisible, but not really. You know, it's camouflage. It's camouflage, but you can see the outline of it. It's almost like, I don't know if you ever
Like a
played
green
Killzone.
screen? You're saying
You know
like
how
a
you
green
play
screen?
Killzone, the sniper, how it can camouflage but not fully camouflage,
Yeah.
like that. That's what it looks like. And she's like, they just sit there and watch me or some shit like that. I don't know. But I'm like, a lot of crazy shit seems to be happening right now, and I'm like, people are not taking this serious, but we don't know what the fuck it is, you know. And it led a lot of people to think of like, yo, we're coming to the age of where Jesus is coming back, where all this crazy stuff is starting to happen. I got to read more into the Bible, because the Bible explains about like what will happen prior to Jesus' return and stuff like that. But I don't know. Let's watch the video on that. On the, because you've seen the video of the backyard shit. Yeah.
I only seen the 911 call, and I seen the body cam on the cop for that little few seconds of the it looked like a meteor or whatever.
I seen the body cam footage of the cop when he went up to bystanders in a car who were driving by and said, "Hey," he said, "I know this is pretty weird." He said, he said, "Do you see anything unusual or weird going on today?" And he's like, and they're, I don't know what the reply was, but he said, "Yeah." He's like, I wouldn't believe this personally, but my buddy of mine, like somebody else in uniform, seen it. And I'm like, so that means you have zero belief in any citizen who calls in and says there's a beast in my shit. He said we wouldn't be taking it seriously if it wasn't for my coworker or whatever, the other police that saw it. He's like, he's seen it. So
I think he's just trying to make it seem like he's trying to, you know how people point the finger like, you know, I ain't
crazy. Huh?
I ain't gay. Like, but you're at a gay bar.
Yeah, like, oh, I'm not
go,
crazy, but to try to like separate yourself from.
Yeah, try to point the finger somewhere else when the interest is within you. Yeah, I don't know. I feel like I don't know. I have no idea what that guy saw. If he saw anything, you don't think it could have been like he was just on something, LSD or some of that.
Well, I mean, that's one thing, right? Because it's not just his account. The body cam footage seen it, right?
Well, the body cam.
There's footage of the there's footage of the body cam from the police officer. There's footage of that.
Yeah, but that doesn't mean that something landed.
There's the eyewitness account, right? And not only just him, multiple people seen it, right? And then there's the person who actually called in, who said that the craft landed in his backyard. And he said, I believe they said that he recorded something, but that's not out yet. And he said that he did record them or something like that. But there was also like a ring inside of the gravel where supposedly it crashed. And he said it was only there for a little bit. I don't know how long.
And then it faded?
And then it disappeared.
But you would think that if they would analyze the area where it landed, there'd be some imprint of
there was a ring.
I know, but that's just visually. What you can see visually. But I'm saying, like, if you use equipment, you'd be able to distinguish that some type of aircraft had landed, whether it was like infrared or like if there was radiation or anything that to identify that the something landed that could not be explained. But there's nothing. Yes,
I forgot. Like, let's just watch the video. It's like a 4-minute video.
Southern Nevada is abuzz tonight with stories about
I've seen part of this video
unknown
before.
object and the alleged sighting of strange creatures in the backyard of a Northwest Valley home.
So it was last night that 8 News Now investigator David Charnes
you think this will ever change?
How Metro Police
like what? The format of news?
on May 1st after receiving a strange call from a very frightened family.
Like, what do you mean, the layout or what?
Like everything.
Global response, and now
I think
piecing
very
together the
similarly it
sequence
will
of
change,
events
but
has been
not.
kinda
I think there will always be the
tricky,
people
in
on the
part because
desk.
the primary witnesses
How
have
else
been
would they do?
almost as elusive as the beings they say they encountered.
Seems like it's,
Chief Investigator George
you're
Knapp
not
is as
standing out from any
perplexed
other
as the
news
rest of
station.
us,
That's the
George.
thing right
As
here.
you know,
This
this
guy,
is
right?
not our
This is the
first
dude
UFO
who
rodeo.
talked
We
about
first heard about the
Bob
incident
Lazar.
in early May via
I was
the
surprised
Metro
when I
Police
seen him
grapevine.
here on
The incident has a lot
thing.
in common
George
with other
Knapp.
bizarre cases from around the world. An alleged crash, strange beings, and bits and pieces that don't make sense. But the police took this seriously, and so do we. Just before midnight on April 30th,
it's a lot better
skywatchers across
quality
several
than I
western states
originally
saw a
saw.
bright fireball streak through the heavens. A police
See, but
officer
that doesn't
working in the
mean- that doesn't-
Northwest Valley caught
that
a
doesn't mean
glimpse
that
of the
something
colorful
landed, but
object
it
on
just
his body
means that
cam.
there's some
At
type
nearly
of
the same
meteor
time, a ring
or-
camera in the area recorded a strange noise and what sounds like a crash. One
It's
family
multiple
living
shit,
in a
though.
ranch-style home had a much closer view of the object. Two brothers and their father were working on a vehicle in their yard when they caught a glimpse of a sparkly object as it came crashing down, then were hit by what they describe as a shock wave. One of the witnesses, a young man named Angel, has stated when the brothers looked into the yard where the object landed, that spot was obscured and blurry, as if by unknown form of camouflage. What they saw next prompted a frantic call to 911.
So there's two people or two subjects that are in your backyard?
Correct, and they're very large. They're
You know,
very
they were
close.
saying people were saying
9
that they were
feet,
very
10 foot, I
calm,
don't know,
and if they were
they're
really
like-
seeing
they're
what
like
they were
aliens to us.
describing, they wouldn't be as calm.
Big eyes,
But
they
I
have
mean,
big
who the
eyes,
fuck knows?
Like I can't explain it, and big mouth. They're shiny eyes, and they're not human. They're 100% they're not human.
8 News Now investigators have spoken with family members multiple times in the past 4 weeks, but each of the 3 times we accepted their invitation to do an interview, they didn't answer the door or their phone. These are some of the claims they've made in other public forums. Multiple family members backed up the story in an initial police report we obtained. Angel says they heard the patter of multiple feet in the yard. They later heard footsteps on their roof. They saw one of the 8-foot-tall creatures climb behind the controls of a large front loader stored in the yard as if trying to engage it. He got a good look at one of the creatures, he said, a
You don't believe
greenish,
it?
grayish being with large eyes and long legs. He says he could hear its deep breaths, and when he locked eyes,
So what do
he
you
was,
think?
in
You think
essence,
somebody took
frozen in
advantage
place,
of
couldn't move.
the fact
In
that
the middle of
something
the yard
was in
where
the
the
air?
object had crashed
I don't know,
and
'cause it
vanished,
just seems
a
weird.
circular impression was left in the soil.
Okay, where is this on your property?
Metro sources say the police dispatcher initially wondered whether to send a crisis intervention team to help the troubled witness, but then took the incident seriously. 2 officers arrived 38 minutes after the call, and by then had heard from other officers. They proceeded cautiously and managed some nervous laughs.
I ain't dealing with that.
A few days later, the family says 2 Metro sergeants returned to the scene to ask follow-up questions. The family says they also saw men in suits and sunglasses driving in a car with government plates cruising slowly past the house in the following days. Nellis and Creech have denied any interest or involvement with the incident. Metro has indicated they believe the family that something crashed in their yard. But what?
You know, you mentioned George in that piece. That
See, that's crazy that people, like, why do you think they would take it so seriously?
The police?
Yeah, like they're saying they're seeing people come in suits. Or
But why
whatever
would
the
they
fuck
take
it was.
38 minutes to get there?
Nah, I don't know.
Like if you think that if somebody called in for like call 911 and said, hey, there's huge ass motherfuckers in my backyard, tall, not human. I need somebody to come over.
Maybe
Why would
because they didn't take it as
They're
serious.
like, we'll take 40 minutes to get there.
Maybe they just didn't take it seriously, so they didn't prioritize it.
I don't know. Maybe, but still though, you would think that they would send somebody out there within probably 10 minutes and you'd be out there.
But what would it take you to believe it? Because if
Video?
even if
It
you
had-
seen the video, you would have been like, "That's fake." as
No,
fuck."
just because when you have just one video, it can be altered. Shit can be altered. And for me to like undeniable evidence is when you have multiple cameras from multiple angles, right? As far as like you know the freaking those cameras that
But maybe what you're looking for, you could never get the type of evidence you need. I forgot somebody said. I don't know if I heard where I heard this or whatever. Somebody said even if Jesus came back today and recorded them, people wouldn't believe it.
It's
If
because
people showed you videos of him performing miracles across the world, right? People wouldn't believe it.
it's because you wouldn't need. I think for Jesus, you wouldn't need recordings. Because on one of those things you were showing me, it said everybody on earth will see Jesus.
Yeah, on his return.
Everybody would see him. And that right there is proof enough, because everybody, I remember I told this guy I used to work with, like, how do you know God's real? Because he was not a pastor, is that what it was called? He like
A
he
pastor?
yeah, like he was like a licensed guy to like talk in front of a church or whatever. And like in his previous things, what he did, but he no longer did it. But he had 100% belief in God and Jesus, like heavy. And I would always like question him and tell him like, okay, so like tell me how this works, and just to for me to understand the concept of God and religion and all that better, because he had such a good understanding as far as when he spoke it. So I would always question him, and he said that when he first began a relationship with God, it was when something happened, and he said that it awakened this thing for God and Jesus, and he said I seen him. I don't know how, he didn't go into depth on how he seen him, whether it was a dream or what, but he said I seen him, and there's nothing you can tell me or anyone else can tell me that can say that he's not real. I seen him. I've experienced him. And I'm like, okay, he didn't go into depth on what he meant by that, but I've never experienced Jesus or God in the same way he is. So the only way that I can be convinced 100% is like for
him to just show his place.
Like same thing how that dude said that he would present himself to everyone. And when something happens to yourself, when something happens to you, you know,
you need
100%.
you need something like more than just that means it has to be on some ghost shit. Like not ghost shit. But you're saying that God can present himself to you, and if it's not in the masses or with multiple people that can confirm that they saw what they saw, you wouldn't believe it? Is that what you're telling me? You're telling me if you were like, say you were drunk or under the influence of whatever, I don't fucking know. You look up and you see something. It might not just be God. It might be something clearly that told you it was God. Are you going to be like, it was the drugs? Or I was just under the influence?
I don't know how that means. I don't know what you're talking about.
Because I'm saying, okay. I
no.
think that's a bad example. Because when you're underneath the drugs, you can think like, oh, I was hallucinating. No, I was just saying, like, say God presented himself in some way, some manner, or gave you a sign 100%, right? When you were by yourself in the middle of nowhere. Are you saying that wouldn't be...
That would be more believable to me.
Yeah, but I'm saying, do you need a second eyewitness? Because you know how people, when you see a ghost, you're like, I'm not crazy.
Yeah.
You're like, oh, that's what you need? You need two people to confirm it?
It's not what I need. It's just unrefutable. It's just unrefutable. It's not what I need, but it's you can't deny it. If right now we're both sitting here and shit just starts levitating, if I was sitting here by myself and that shit just levitated, right? It would first initially it would scare me, and I'd be like, what the fuck's going on? Because it's unnatural, right? And then, but if you're here too and we both see this shit, we'll be like, well, what the fuck? Like, you seen it, I seen it, something happened. But it's easier for me to, I always question everything, no matter what. My instinct initially is to question it before I say, okay, this is real. Because when you question everything before you believe it, it's a lot smarter than it is to just believe it from the jump. Because people can fool you. You can be fooled by tricks that people have learned to do, that just like magic. They're just a trick. But yeah, people believe, oh shit, it is magic. So when you question everything, so that there's no, oh yeah, I can't refute it.
I don't know. Because people would say like, like you just said, you need something that solidifies it. But people would say like you're unworthy of that.
But I'm not saying I need it.
But you're saying to believe it.
I'm not saying I needed to believe. I'm saying if somebody said that's Jesus right there, I'm not going to be like, oh shit, that is Jesus without no question. It's going to be question until there's, okay, yeah, it's irrefutable. That is Jesus.
Oh.
But I don't need him to present himself to me for me to believe in him. But I'm saying if somebody told me that's Jesus, I'm not going to believe it. I would question until there's, it's irrefutable.
Yeah, that's fine. But I was saying because the alien shit, you said you needed multiple angles.
Yeah, because it's question. I don't believe it. Anything that they hit me, Bigfoot, aliens, Loch Ness Monster, whatever, I don't believe it. Question. You got to hit me with a bunch of shit. It's not just like, you need to hit me with DNA. You got to hit me with a body. You got to hit me with studies, multiple people, multiple companies, doctors, whatever. Doing and then it's okay, it's irrefutable. But until only one picture, it's like that's tight, it's interesting, but it's not automatically in my head. That's confirmation. Fact.
Yeah,
I need irrefutable proof, and until someone provides irrefutable proof, then I'd be like, okay, something like it does look like it's a possibility. I can't deny that the possibility of that happened. Because it's so many people talking about it. Some people say they saw shit.
It's because it's just there's like when it comes to aliens, to me it's not such a crazy thing because based on the size of the universe, and they say is infinite. I never can get over that ever.
But just if you just think about it, it's also, if you look at the numbers for them to find our planet.
I remember there was a girl who was talking to Neil deGrasse Tyson, I think, who was talking about aliens, right? And she said the amount we've searched in our technology, I don't know, I'm paraphrasing. I don't even know like exactly. Don't take my word for it. Because then people would tell me, oh, you're not saying this correctly. Just like there was this lady who was talking to Neil deGrasse Tyson, and she said something along the lines of like the shit that we've searched and the shit that the technology we have to look and everything is like she referenced it as like it's like taking a cup, a normal cup, and going to the ocean and scooping it and like that, and then analyzing this 8-ounce cup to the everything about it, and you're like, yep, there's no aliens. But she said you would be a fool to say, oh, there's no life in the ocean. Because if you go to the ocean and you scoop this shit, there's not going to be no fish or something in there. So she was comparing it to that. And I'm like, it's just so big. It's so big that it makes me think there has to be. Something out there.
I think aliens do exist and have existed. But there's so many planets and there's so many, the time frame of because look at Earth. I don't even know how many billion years ago before there was life, or even when life was beginning to form. There's planets go through cycles, and whether right now we're in our current state, we're at a cycle where we can sustain life, but the cycle might end one day for whatever reason. The planet might not have no more like oxygen, might not have something to continue for life as we know it to continue, and then some other planet, Mars, could be fucking green again one day. Who knows, right? So because every planet in every galaxy changes, we have no idea what has existed or what has not existed, and so I feel like aliens have already existed.
It's infinite.
I know.
That makes me think that they're out there, whether we're in range of them or not. They're out there.
But for them to find Earth seems like it's lucky for them just to find it, unless they have. But then I guess I'm limiting.
It almost seems like it would never happen.
Aliens?
No. Contact.
Oh,
when we're talking about it's so big, it's infinite, And then Neil deGrasse Tyson said there's more infinite than infinite, which at that point you've lost me.
He like
I don't know.
There's different infinites.
Yeah, I don't even know.
Some infinites are bigger than others, and I have no idea how that works.
I'm too dumb to comprehend that. But when we think of it, like when we look at it like that, it's just like if they were on it's crazy because there's no other side. When it keeps going, it doesn't end. So it's like this table, right? We can only say, because I was going to say, like, if we are over here on this side of the table in the universe and they're over here, who's to say we're so far away? How the fuck we ever find each other?
They would need the technology that they would need would be so crazy advanced, though.
We would both have to be advanced, don't you think?
No,
if we're that far away.
You know, because I feel like they can scan. They'll have some type of technology they can scan for fucking life forms.
Because I'm pretty sure if there's life out there, right, who's super advanced, don't you think it would be a priority for them? Maybe not a priority, but definitely an interest to search for life, just like we are in other planets.
What do they get out of it, though? Other than it's just interesting.
Knowledge, right?
Because if they're that advanced, they know everything about everything in the whole universe. If they can travel faster than the speed of light, because
how do we know that though? I don't know. When we talk, I don't know. Now we're stepping into we don't know shit about shit. But right?
if you think about just science,
who's to say you know everything about the universe?
That's what. But if
when the universe is infinite, do you believe that? I don't know. We're going into I don't know shit about shit mode, right? How the fuck do you know everything about the universe when it's fucking billions of light years away?
When you say,
hey, don't you think a new element out there or a new something on the periodic table?
Because they say shit can only be arranged in so many ways.
But why? How do you know that? How do you guarantee that?
There's science. It's got to be science.
No, I understand that. But right, how old are humans?
Mm-hmm.
To the point that we can trust a scientist that says there's no other way this can be mixed and matched. Now we don't know shit about shit, right? I believe in scientists, but I'm just saying.
I don't know, but I just feel like the understanding of the universe, for you to be able to travel faster than the speed of light, the understanding of the universe, you would have to have that shit down. There's no other way. Because
like the fact that we think the fact that we think that time, right, is like one way. Like when people talk about time is different, that's just crazy to me because I don't know how the fuck time can be different, right? But when you go super fast, it slows down time. When you go light speed or whatever the fuck, I don't know. If you go that shit, it slows down time for you. That's crazy. I think Joe Rogan said that if you wear a watch and your wife wears a watch at the same time your child is born,
and you said
it, yeah, it was perfectly set at the same time. And for some reason, that shit never died and never nothing like that. It was continuous forever. By the time in 20 years, the times would be different. Because time works differently for me than it works from you. I just don't understand that. Even though it would be like a minimal change, but there would be change. And that's where I'm like, how does that work? So
and then why does going the light speed, how is going the speed of light and then coming back, time passes faster for the people that stayed still compared to you going light speed and returning? I don't understand how that works either. But they explain it to you. There's videos that explain it to you.
But it's a time on Earth, right? Because you know how every planet has its time?
Something to do with gravity.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. It has something to do with here, gravity, right? The way that it affects our bodies. Because how are we measuring time from Earth? Just on how somebody ages? Or how certain shit on Earth ages? How are we measuring time? We're all in, I don't know shit about shit.
I don't know if it's just
that's what I'm saying.
Time.
Because it's like,
because I think they say if it's here, 10 o'clock here, and then somebody goes into space, and then they have the time 10 o'clock too.
Right, because
and then they come back, it's different time.
That's because it's like, say we find another planet and we send humans over there, right? And on this planet, time is slower. So that you live to be 200 years on this planet. And on Earth, you only live to 100 max.
I think the time is the same. Well, I guess I don't know. Because gravity plays a part in how time...
Like if you have a brother on Earth. And then fucking Elon, whatever, whoever gives you access to another planet, and just like moving to another country, he moves to that new planet. When you guys are
I don't think you
kids,
could still live 200 years.
you guys are kids. How do you know though? All in the shit. You don't know shit. We don't know shit
don't
about
think
shit.
that's
But I'm
how it
just saying,
works.
right? If you guys separate, like you guys are 1 year old, and you guys separate, you guys say peace out, whatever. Then you go to another planet, and then 30 years pass by for this dude. He's super far away, light years away. He's like 30 years have passed, whatever. For him, he's 31 now. And they call him and they're like, hey, your brother just died. He died at 72 on Earth. You think that's possible?
I don't know.
Because if it slows down time for you, is that only because you're moving so fast, right? But the Earth moves at its own speed. So if this planet is moving faster than Earth, does that mean that it's slower?
No, because I mean, technically.
Because remember in Interstellar, right? Remember in Interstellar, when they went to that planet where it was just water and shit, they were like every whatever, I don't remember, every
7 minutes.
something like that is a year on Earth or some shit like that. So that just proves my point, right? If you just stay there.
Yeah, but it was something to do with the black hole. They were close to, they were within a certain radius to a black hole, which, because black holes slow time down because of their mass or something, they slowed time down. So every 7 minutes for them was years for other people. That's how they played it, and I'm sure some of the science was accurate, but I'm not sure how they explain that. I have no idea.
So you can basically fast travel, time travel. You can time travel into the future. If you have the technology to hop on a spaceship or whatever it is, right? And you leave Earth and you go super fucking fast in circles, right? For however long, years will pass by on Earth. So when you come back, all your family will be dead. And it's a whole other world.
Yeah, I think that's possible, but I have
Go
no
if
idea.
you go at a certain speed. I forgot who said. I think Neil deGrasse Tyson said something about like if you put something in motion in a circle fast enough, it like I don't know, the growing process. I don't fucking know. I don't know shit about shit. I don't know, but to me, that's what I'm saying. We hit so much shit that's it's too far. I like it. Yeah, I don't know. Because I would have never thought that you can do that. If somebody told me my time is different than your time, I'd be like, what the fuck are you talking about? Then why is it that we both meet at 3 p.m.? When you say meet me at the block on 3 p.m., we're both there at the same time. And if time's different from you than me, but that's because it's not a big enough gap. Huh? It might be like milliseconds or seconds.
It's just because it's Earth.
I don't know. I don't understand that shit. You're diving in some shit I don't understand. I think there's shit that we're just never gonna be able to understand. We're too dumb.
I think it can be broken down eventually. Once it's understood better, it'll be broken down to a point where
I think the fact I've learned a lot from. I think I learned a lot from Neil deGrasse Tyson because the way he's able to, I don't know, he has a skill at being able to teach and make shit, and he believes that school shouldn't be boring.
which is true.
And it's hella boring. But like, I think if I would sit down with Neil deGrasse Tyson, I'd be hella interested. I'd ask him hella shit like this. And he would be able to be like, look, dumbass, this is not how it works. This is how it works. And then I'd be hella intrigued. I'd be like, okay, now I would tell him like, dumb it down, hella dumb. Like, dumb it down hella low so I could understand you. And once I understand it, then let's move on to another question. Because I got so many questions about the universe and shit like that. But that's why when I hear shit about aliens, I've always like, it's a possibility. I'm not gullible to it, but I'm always like, I don't know. But if this was sure, like if this was 100% real, would it hurt you? Would it hurt you? Would it scare you in any way?
No, because who cares? The world's gonna end anyways.
Because once you know that, if this was somehow guaranteed, wouldn't you be scared at nighttime?
Nah, because they would have came and got my ass already.
Why would they get you?
Well, if they were gonna come anyways.
But now you know that something exists on and is now on Earth. Walking around. Yes, in Las Vegas, but when something has the technology like that, who's to say they can't fast travel game video style to fucking Michigan, to California, to Texas in like that? Who's to say that?
So long as they're not trying to do anything dirty to me.
It's like they just take you.
Like, why would they want my ass though? I don't think they would want my ass. And so long as they're not, because a lot of the fear back in the day, like in the 90s and shit, when aliens were popping, the fear was like when people were getting abducted and like and people were coming up with these stories of maybe because of the 50s and the balloon, with the supposedly balloon and Rose, what's it called, Roswell or whatever, Roswell, the ranch or whatever. People were saying like, oh, they abducted me and they put this shit in my ass and all this type of stuff, and it's like, why? If they wanted to put shit in my ass, I'd be like, yeah, nah, don't take me.
But they wouldn't ask.
I know,
It's like, you coming, boy. He's just gonna say.
I'll be like,
okay, but listen. Okay, last question, and we'll end this shit because our cameras are dying. Anyways, I don't know if I think I've asked you this before. Hypothetically, right? You're alone and in the middle of a fucking field or whatever, and a fucking spaceship lands and aliens pop out, right? Weird. And they come out and they speak English. And they're like, hey, we mean you no harm. They're like, what we're about to tell you is going to be crazy to you. We're not from here. They're like, we're 437 light years away where we live.
And we need some gas.
We discovered that there's life on Earth. We came to see it for ourselves. We found you guys. They're like, what I'm about to ask you is crazy. But like I say again, we mean no harm. Were you willing to come with us? They said, we can take you there. We'll bring you back. But we only want to take you to study you. We want some of your blood to study it. And I can guarantee you, when you come, we will treat you like a king. Everything will be provided for you. And we move so fucking fast that you would only be gone like 2 days. Earth time. And it would be like a week that you would actually be gone.
Do I get a blicky?
And they're like, but is it going to be useful to you?
Yeah, I don't think
to them.
Like, what do I get in return?
Would you go?
Like, what do I get in return for me to go through this freaking abduction?
Where they were like, what do you want? The dude's like, talk to me.
Okay, I'd be like,
I'll bring you the PlayStation 8 or whatever.
I'll be like, what can you provide? Give me something, seduce me. Like that. That's kind of gay, but that's what I would tell him. Because you gotta give me something that's like, and it's like something that
he's like, okay. He's like, I will give you. He's like, we're never supposed to do this, but we'll make an exception. He's like, I will give you a stone, and this stone gives you the ability to not only fast travel within your Earth in seconds. You can go across the Earth in a second, or it would also allow you to travel to where we're at any moment in time, and you will carry it. He said, whenever you don't feel comfortable, you can fast travel back home. And he said, I know you're not going to believe me. He said, I'll leave this stone with you. I'll come back in a month.
But would that stone work for any other person other than
He said, no, a program to your fingers. And he said, but you have to keep this a secret. If you tell anybody, we'll take back the stone and we'll fuck you up. Because we're trusting you, right?
Yeah, but how would I have control of going across the Earth when someone can catch me?
He can catch you? Well, he's just telling you, I don't know.
I wouldn't want the stone.
He'll say, I'll give it to you. I don't know. You're making too much. You're going too far.
I don't want the stone.
I don't know. He'll say, I'll make it to where it gives you.
I would say, how long do I have to make a decision?
He said, I'll give you a month. I'll leave you with the stone.
I'll be like, I don't want the stone. Take the stone. Give a fuck about the stone.
He said, you know what? Fuck you. I'll find another person then, bitch.
All right, take the blicky out.
He's gonna say, what's up then? He's gonna pull out the Halo sword. He's like, he's gonna do some Thanos shit. I'll destroy your whole fucking Earth. Don't play with me, boy. He's gonna say that.
I'll be like, you want to do it? Do it. Don't say do, pervert.
He's gonna go like, hey. He's gonna call his boys. Hey, this motherfucker, hey, fucking Preston. He's gonna say, this motherfucker's testing us. The motherfucker's gonna be like, smoke that motherfucker. The Preston's gonna be like, smoke him. He's like, nah, because we come in peace. He's like, we'll smoke him later if he fucking,
If you don't come with
yeah,
us,
if he's fucking around. Yeah.
I would tell him. I would say, heal everyone.
What if he's like, listen, boy. He's like, you're pissing me off, right? He's like, you're pissing me off, and he goes like this, boom, and makes a big ass fucking hole in the earth right in front of you, and now you two are levitating over that big ass hole. And he said, this is what we're capable of. He said, if I came to harm you, you think I wouldn't fucking destroy this whole shit? And then he puts it back together. He puts the shit back together and then says, look, you could stand on this bitch. You could stand on it again. I just showed you. He said, if I wanted to hurt you, I'd come and take the whole shit over. He said, we're just trying to... He said...
That's because when you come with that energy, you don't give a fuck.
He's going to be like, you know what? He's going to be like...
the world.
He's going to be like, you questioning me too much. I'm going to rape you.
I'll destroy this fucking world.
Say, you know what? Fuck you. I'm raping your ass. He's like, hey, Preston, come get this motherfucker, huh?
Yeah, fuck that. I think the only way that he could convince me is if I would tell him to heal everyone. People who don't have legs, people who don't have arms, people who have mental disabilities, cancer, anything.
And what if he's like, I don't have that authority?
Oh, then fuck off then. That's right. The only way I'm going with you is the only way for me to prove that you don't mean no harm is heal everyone. Provide food for the hungry. Everything. No wars.
He's like, we won't play God.
Then I tell him fuck off then.
He said, we can't. He said, doing so will change the nature of everything here.
If he wanted to take me or get a sample of blood, there's technology. If he could travel that far, he wouldn't need me to ask permission. He would just scan me and the thing would give him everything, DNA, give him everything he would need. He don't need to take me for nothing. Yeah. The only reason he want to take me is because he want to pound that ass.
He's going to be like, hey, Preston. He's like, this motherfucker keeps questioning me, dog. He's going to say, he keep playing with me. He's going to say.
I'm saying. That's the only thing.
But he's going to be like, you don't know. He's going to be like, you guys don't even know how to fucking leave Earth. And you question me? You dumbass. He's going to say, Preston, go get this dude.
I don't trust
like, how many times have I called you?
He's trying to frick her.
He's going to say, Preston, I ain't fucking around no more.
He's trying to frick her.
He's like, let's rape him and get out of here. He's going to say. So you wouldn't go with him at all?
Nah.
No chance ever? Out of fear? Or out of like...
Out of just because I don't trust him?
Or you don't believe him that he'll bring you back?
I just don't trust him and it's risky on my part. For what? There's no winning. If he can't do that, if he can't do what I said about healing, he's not worth my time.
But he said, I'm not Jesus.
Well, if he's promising a fucking stone that travels the millions and millions of light years away, he can heal some cancer. Come on now. If he can't do that, then he a bullshitter. He trying to pound that ass.
He's going to be like, you know what, Preston? He's going to say, I don't like humans. This motherfucker, just destroy Earth. He said, we'll find a new thing to study. Destroy these motherfuckers. Freezer style.
Fuck it. What that dude from the Mario movie said? The star? Like death is just a what do you say? Death is he said death is like a peace, mercy, peace, or what did he say?
I don't know what he said. But I know you're talking about that blue star.
You know how he said finally when they said it.
He said mercy.
Yeah, mercy, yeah.
That's crazy. That shit is dark. He said some other shit like that you're talking about. I don't remember it though. But I don't know. That's crazy. I think probably that some people would go.
Fuck that alien. And
there's nothing he could promise you?
Nah, he ain't even cute. What the?
What do you mean? What if he was?
Then he'd be an illusion. It's even more risky. If aliens aren't ugly, I don't trust them.
What if they look just like a human?
Then I don't trust them.
And you're like
naturally,
and you're like, how the fuck you look like me? And he proved to you, but he said
I'm Mexican. What the?
Yeah, he's like my name's Juan, huh?
My name's Juan.
He's like, I like tacos too. He's like, I like tacos too. He's like, I commonly come here in disguise and eat a bunch of tacos in Mexico and go back home with my stump.
Yeah, see, that's what I'm saying. He doesn't trust me.
What if he's like,
untrustworthy?
What if he's like this, whatever, and brings a plate gourmet shit? He's like, this shit will so good you'll faint.
Nah, he just trying to see. I'm telling you, he's trying to roofie my ass to take me with him.
But he wouldn't have to. He's like, if I really wanted to roofie you, he's like, I don't need the roofie. He said, I just snap my fingers and you'd become unconscious. Because they have the technology.
He'd get it.
What if he's like, listen, all this shit that I asked for, I can take it. You're right. What if he's like, okay, you're right. I don't need you to be willing to be my subject. I could just analyze you and take everything I need. He said, but I'm interested in bringing you and introducing you to my kind and analyzing somebody who's willing and not
Combative.
Yeah, combative, and learn you guys is from the horse's mouth instead of looking at you from a distance. He's like, I already know what the fuck you guys do. He's like, but I want to conversate with you guys. And he's like, I didn't go to the fucking bullshit president that you have. He's like, I want an average citizen.
I'm not the average citizen though. You need to go to George Knapp. He'd go with you. Take care of that ass.
He's like, I don't
Take that
want
old
his,
man.
He's gonna say, I don't want his old ass. I want a fresh youngin.
Nah, you don't want this brown.
He's gonna say, I want the brown boy.
Nah, it's not good for you.
He's gonna say, Preston wants you. Preston chose you. He's gonna say, so you're coming. He said, listen, all bullshit aside, he's gonna say, all bullshit aside, bro, you're coming whether you like it or not. I was trying to be nice to you. Offer you fucking gourmet, give you stones to travel. I offer you the privilege to travel back whenever you want. He said, but now you're coming with us and you're staying with us forever. We're not even gonna waste the gas or whatever they use to travel, the power stone or whatever they use to come back. We're just gonna take your ass. And we're gonna take you to Pound Town. Like the girl said, like that song. Have you heard that song?
No.
He said, and we travel fast as fuck. He said, we travel light years away fast as fuck, but it's still 20 minutes. So we're going to take you to Pound Town. We're going to take you to Pound Town. Have you heard that song? Of that girl saying like Pound Town or such like that? He said, so in that 20 minutes, Preston's going to do you nice.
Preston. I would fight. Bite him.
He just knock you unconscious.
He'd probably like it though.
There's nothing so like how many people you think people would go?
Yeah, there's a bunch of people that would go.
Because I'll give you whatever you want. He's like, I'll give you a material that's not from this earth that you can present to your people.
Yeah, it's because I don't trust it. I don't trust nobody. I don't trust nothing. So him telling me anything about giving, yeah, fuck off. I don't give a fuck. Take me by force.
All right. Preston, get this over.
Thug life, Westside. That's what I hit him with. And then I would have to take the little blicky out.
But I think if somebody was that advanced, I'm like, I probably wouldn't trust it either, because if it's not Jesus, right, it would be like, what the fuck is this? Because if he's like, all right, he's like, name it. What do you want? And you're like, cure the world. He's like, done. He's like, the whole world will be cured in 24 hours.
Instant.
And he's like, and we'll wait it out. You want to wait it out before we leave? He's like, you'll see it. Everybody wakes up, it's over the news that all of a sudden, and they're saying, he said, but you can't tell nobody it was me.
Yeah, that'd be fine.
And he's like,
so long as I see, but then it's like, I don't know. It seems like it could all be a trick too, huh? You can be going around. Oh, you already been passed out, and you.
But then why would he do that?
But you're passed out thinking that you're
already in Pound Town.
Yeah, I'm already in Pound Town. and then while I'm getting pounded, my head is everything's cured.
But see then that
and then I would wake up the next day and then everything's cured, right? And I'm like, oh yeah, I'll go with you. And then all of a sudden somehow that dream and then real life synchronized, and now I'm in Pound Town for life. Yeah, but it would be that he would actually be a nice person if he distracted you, made you whole think a bunch of good shit while you're in Pound Town. Because why would he care? He's like, who gives a fuck? Preston, go at him. Because it's more juicy. It's more juicy. What do you mean? Like it's like meat when you kill them, like you kill them without them knowing. Oh, so it's like the meat doesn't have any fear in it, so it tastes better. Is that true? I don't know. People have talked about that, but I don't know. I don't know. I don't trust aliens. Thank you for listening to the AB podcast. You can follow us in the links below. All our social medias are linked there. If you want to buy some merch, the merch that we're usually wearing in the podcast, you can buy it as well. The link will be below.